So, in honor of Mother Day weekend, this episode, I'm going to talk about my mother. My mother is a very traditional Asian woman. She's all about being presentable to men, that what how men look at her is the most important things ever. So, she want me to be perfect and modest in every way. More specifically, speak softly, wear clothes wear clothes that look sexy to men, put on makeup to look good for men, put on daily skincare so I can have smooth skin because men want that too. So all these things that just make me an object, not a person. I somewhat understand that culture because that's what she grew up in. She's a product of her environment. My grandfather is very sexist. For example, when my mom and my uncle come home from school, my mom would have to do the house chore, like cleaning, cooking. My uncle can just run off to play with his friend and it's fine. If my mom doesn't want to do her house chores, my grandfather would hit her. And that's a common practice. So if you grew up in that culture, you would be afraid of men as much as she is. And she would tell me that you're lucky your father's not that violent. He's toxic in his own way, even though he doesn't physically hit me all the time. But you have a chance to come to America. You don't have to play that rule anymore. What do you choose to put to make to think that you are inferior to men just because you were born as a female? It's it's very toxic to teach your children to just be an object for men to stare at, to just follow the rules. It is what appealing to them. But she just doesn't take the opportunity to to free herself from that, from the mold that she was put into, from the society pressure. She would say excuses like, I'm too old, nobody want to marry me. Like, are you kidding me? It's America. You can get divorced at 40 and still go find another partner. Like, nobody's holding you back. Like the society in Asia, where if you're not married by 30, even if you're married and then you're divorced, you're just like, you're done. Like, nobody wants you. They just think they just see you as like, uh, well, there's no nice way to say this, but they just see you as like garbage that nobody else want to pick up. That's the toxic culture of how they see women over there. They let you have a divorce, but no other men would want to get with you because you're like another man trash. So I can't live over there. It's disgusting. I'll keep all my freedom in America. It's and then when I was a kid, she always played this role where when she get into an argument with my toxic father, she would just run to my room and cry. And she would yell at me for saying that I don't say anything to comfort her. Like I love you, mom. What I did say to her was this: just leave my deadbeat father. If your own child at the age of 12 can see that this jerk is taking advantage of you, he's not supporting the family, then why don't you see it for yourself and just leave him? But then she's also clinging onto this image of that she's a single woman, single mom that it looked bad in Asian culture, it looks bad in the Asian community, the small Asian community. It's just like, who cares? You're in America. Nobody's going to judge you to be a single mother. Though, then is like she is mentally weak to say that I need a man in my life who provide no financial support for the family. Just like asking her for money, never try hard at his job, got fired. Why would you need somebody like that in your life? This is why I don't like emotionally weak women who say those things. You don't need to depend on anybody if you can make your own money. It's all superficial image. We're no longer in the toxic society in Asia, but rather doing what I tell to do, leave my deadbeat father, because of the image of the perfect family, of having a husband is so important to her that she just stayed with this toxic person for another 30 years or something. And just, and then she bragged to me about it. It's like, oh, so blah, 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 anniversary. It's like, oh, good job. You just wasted another 30 years of your life with this deadbeat, and you're so proud of it. This is another problem with the older generation. Like, seriously, if you look at all these older women in their 60s, 70s, and then they're like, oh, I've been married to my husband for like 75 years. I just met one of those at the hospital that I work at. And I'm just like, I doubt it that it's going to be 75 years of happy marriage. You know why? Because at that time, women are not allowed to get a divorce. They're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to have their own bank account. So, of course, you have to stay with whatever deadbeat husband you have for 75 years. And then over time, you just like get used to it. And you're just saying that, like, without them, I'm just, gonna be lonely for the rest of my life. So it's just better to be with someone, even if it's deadbeat. That just is like, you can just say that, oh, it could be 75-year happy marriage. Right. Okay. That could be the case. There's like I'll give it like a 3% chance. 3% chance. Nothing lasts forever. It is a great culture in America that when things don't work out, you get divorced, you move on. Whereas it's the opposite in Asia. You got married, you're stuck with that person, they become a jerk to you, you're just stuck with them. You know, with and also the arranged marriage thing, where my cousin, her parents just married her off to some like really 60-year-old guy, and she was like 24 something. And she doesn't want that. So she have to run away from home to another country so that she can be free. It is such a disgusting culture. So why would you pass that on to your children when they don't have to live in that disgusting sexist culture? When you have a chance to go to America and give them all the freedom that they want, why would you teach them to be an object to men? Speak softly around men. my father and his friend are sexist, they would sit at a table and say that like women are too stupid to know about politics. Like my mom want me to agree to things like that. I don't want to agree to those disgusting ideology. If they're stupid, I call them out for being stupid. I say women are as smart as men, which is why there's some women politicians. And then they would be like, oh, but they're not good politicians, they're stupid too. Ah, God. Yeah, so, you know, the point is that it's very toxic to teach these traditional beliefs to your daughter just because you grow up in that culture. What you should be teaching them is that they should pursue their dream of whatever it is, even if it's in the field that men is in. My mother wanted me to become a doctor, and I ended up studying IT. And then she would tell me that, oh, there's too many men in that field. Like, do I have to be afraid of men that they're in that field? I don't like blood. I and then just being at the hospital and dealing with patient directly is annoying. So just remember this, that if you grow up in that culture because your parent come from Asia and they teach you this BS and you don't feel like it's right for you, you feel something is off. It took me a while because my mom liked to guilt trip me into things by saying that she provided for me, we're grateful, that she worked 2 jobs in America to provide for me. This is the least I can do, get married and have kids. But it's like I can't even, I don't like sex. How am I supposed to make kids? Just like they need to stop having a blueprint for the child. They want to be the exact clone of what they are. That's just you let them make their own decision. You let them be themselves. So these are the reason why I don't care for my mother anymore. It has been I have given her so much time to understand me. I've tried to explain to her these past 30 years. She'd never accept me for who I am, still imposing her ideology to me, just being the perfect modest woman. And then she would get mad at me when I don't call her, say happy birthday to her, which is today, or say happy Mother Day. It's very superficial. I don't like to do superficial act. And then she would expect me that my language of love to her is buy her expensive item like handbags, LV handbag. Like, why would you need those things? I told you multiple times to put your money to a mutual fund or something. I don't like superficial things. So it's okay if you don't like your mom and it's Mother Day. Or if you think that there's something wrong with the way your parent teach you, you're just too confused. Maybe you'll see what it is soon. But yeah, that's all. Till next time.